So where's the mind? If it's not on the breath, just gently and firmly coming back. Pick up the breath, whatever part of the cycle you're on. Since it did come up in previous class, I'll remind you of the technique of labeling. Labeling just as a, sometimes it's useful if the mind's very active, to simply call out in a broad sense, very generalized labeling where the mind is going, what the distraction might be, if it's sounds and noises, or sensations in the body, emotions, or the thinking. And the thinking may be into planning, into the future, into remembering the past. Maybe fantasizing or analyzing. It's not to get caught up in more thinking, it's just noticing, this is thinking, this is planning, this is worrying, this is numbness or tingling. And then coming right back to the practice, back to the breath. It's not necessary, but that's available for you. Continuing with the attention on the sensations of breathing in that part of the body where the breath is most vivid. And again, noticing where the mind is right now. Is it on the breath? Is it wandered away, distracted, lost in thought? If it's gone away from the breath, again, without giving yourself a hard time, just bringing it back. Back to the breath, back to the moment. Continuing to breathe naturally, normally, allowing the breath to be just as it is. And then when you're ready, bringing the attention to the body, entire body sitting upright, breathing. Becoming aware of all the different sensations throughout the body, coming and going moment by moment. This includes, of course, the sensations of breathing, but also the contact with the body, the structures you're on, the mats, the chairs, cushions. Maybe that sense of coolness, the air conditioning coming over the skin, or perhaps warmth, moisture, dryness, pressure, tightness. Internal sensations like gurgling in the stomach, maybe throbbing, tingling, numbness, discomfort. There's many different sensations coming and going throughout the body. And the attention to the body as a whole, all the different sensations. Here, if the mind is really active, getting easily distracted, or perhaps it's getting dull, bored, sleepy, bringing the attention back to the breath, refocusing on the breath first, and then expanding out to the bodies available for you. As we're going through this practice, you may begin to notice that certain sensations are becoming prominent. These may be pleasant, unpleasant, or neither, what we call neutral. If a particular sensation becomes prominent, bringing the attention to that sensation and exploring with curiosity, a sense of friendliness, kindness, just exploring the sensation, noticing what happens to it when you bring your attention right into the sensation. Does it get stronger, weaker? Is it fluctuating? Does it go away? it's just noticing what happens to the sensation when you bring your attention right into it. And then when you're ready, coming back to the body as a whole, the entire body sitting upright, breathing. Noticing here again where the mind is, if it's wandered away from the body. No, that's not, it's just what the mind's doing, so without giving yourself a hard time coming back to the body, or perhaps if it feels more appropriate to refocus on the breath first, and then when you're ready, expanding out to the body and all the different sensations coming and going. Perhaps you might be noticing some sensations are particularly strong and unpleasant, uncomfortable, or perhaps even painful. And sometimes this happens just simply from sitting for this period of time. The body can fatigue, or there may be a sense of numbness or pressure in a certain joint. And so if there's any unpleasant sensation that's arising, and you've noticed an impulse to want to shift the body or move, or it's as if it's an itch, scratch the itch. The invitation here is to pause before you make the movement. Just notice the sensation and that sense of curiosity and kindness to it. And then noticing the impulse to do something, pausing first, and then making the movement with awareness. Even if it's a simple movement like scratching the itch or repositioning the hands or shifting the body. Maintaining that sense of awareness, that sense of mindfulness throughout the practice. And perhaps, for instance, when there's an itch and you notice the impulse to scratch, pausing, you may choose not to scratch. and not to shift the body. Noticing what happens to the sensation, the unpleasant, uncomfortable sensation, when you let it run its course. Knowing that it may actually intensify, but it may also go away or fluctuate. So always remembering that sense of self-care, really doing what it is that the body needs for you to do at all times, taking care of yourself. Continuing with the awareness on the body and the body sensations, and if a sensation calls your attention, exploring with curiosity and friendliness. If it's unpleasant, there's an impulse to shift or move, pausing, noticing the impulse, and then moving with awareness, shifting the body, and then continuing with the practice. then when you're ready, bringing the attention back to the breath, and as we come to an end here, taking a moment to really appreciate, congratulate yourself for what we just did, and what you've been doing. Not worrying about what you could have done, should have done, didn't do. Just taking this moment here as we come to the end of this practice to appreciate yourself, congratulate yourself for doing these practices. And then when you're ready, lifting the gaze, opening the eyes, and then listening to your body, whatever it needs right now. If you need to move or stretch or change position, feel free to. And we'll reform the circle. You're welcome to stay on the ground if you like. And if not, we can have the chairs pretty much set up. So I'm going to take a moment here to set up the chair. Again, feel free to stretch and twist it. I'm noticing numbness in my leg. Oh, hold on a second. So thank you. I'm noticing it's a little warm too. Is that something happened? Just the outside? Okay. I'm fine. I'm just saying I'm noticing it. They changed the. That's great. So thank you. So here's an opportunity to discuss or open up to what's happening, particularly with this sitting practice and anything else that may be going on with your home practices. Body scans and what else? Okay, just checking. Yeah, what you notice about the practices this week when we went to the alternating, and again in this particular practice that we just did now.
I look forward to the yoga and not so much to the scan.
So you're noticing that you look forward to the yoga? Is it, you say more why that may be, or?
I just feel like I'm actually getting more out of it than the scan.
Get more out of the yoga.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Meaning, can you say?
I just feel like I'm actually able to block my thoughts better, and when I'm doing the physical. When I do the scan, I still find that I'm going off on all these tangents, especially depending on what's happened during the day. But with the yoga, I usually get the same result every time.
So, not to put words in your mouth, you're saying you're able more to focus on what you're doing, etc., and the mind's still active when you're on the body scan kind of thing. Okay. Anybody else noticing that? Between the two? Yeah? Okay. Good. Did you want to say something? Oh. Okay, who else? Thank you.
I like the yoga more also. I feel like I can focus more. When I do the body scans, I usually fall asleep. So I think the movement is helpful for me. And I think it's a good transition for me too, where I feel like I'm going all day. The yoga, there's movement. It's not just coming to a complete halt.
So the yoga brings you into a complete halt?
The body scan does.
Oh, the body scan does, okay. Sorry.
It feels uncomfortable to be that still for me.
Oh, okay. It's uncomfortable to be still, and the yoga, you're moving, so
Yeah.
it feels...
It feels better and more focused.
More focusing. Okay.
I think that the concentration of the yoga moves clears your mind a little easier and faster. Just the concentration of the different moves and trying to do them right, and trying to pay attention to what you're doing and all these things. It's more productive.
More productive meaning in the.
Meaning your mindfulness is fuller. You do it more. You concentrate on all these moves.
So you're noticing that in you, or
Yes,
that
I noticed
that
for
you're
me.
you're able to more focus on the on what you're doing, or on the.
I'm not thinking about anything else but what you're
Okay.
doing.
Gotcha.
The yoga goes by really quick. The scan doesn't.
Yeah.
It goes by very quick, and the body scan does not. Okay.
You have to keep calling back yourself, or you fall asleep, but you don't sleep. All that stuff. But with the yoga, it's concentrated. I get more out of it.
I think the seated position takes more work. Takes more work for me to get to a point where I think I could benefit mostly from it. Whereas with yoga, I've done yoga before, but I haven't done a lot of sitting and meditating. So most of my discomfort started to come through my body, and that would take me away from the breathing portion.
Is this? I'm sorry. Were you talking about the sitting meditation or
Yes,
at home in the body?
meditation.
Okay.
Now.
So you were finding discomfort and.
Well, I wanted to use that to experience it more, even though it was more comfortable for me, because I think that would be my practice. I would need to practice that more to get to a place where I can appreciate, the experience, if that makes sense.
So when were you feeling uncomfortable here?
Yes.
You're saying, and what did you do? What did you notice that you did here?
Well, I just I would leave the breathing part, and then I would go and get in touch with the parts of my body that were really getting uncomfortable. Like my foot fell asleep too.
Okay.
So I would say, well, I'd focus on it and then say, okay, what am I going to do about that? What is the lesson that's sending me? And it would be, I need to do more of that, not less of it, to get to another place, a better place where I can appreciate that experience as much as I experience the movement, the yoga movements.
So if I get this understanding it, so you're saying you were what you were learning was that you should have more discomfort, or bring your attention more into it, or I didn't quite
get to a point where it's not uncomfortable for me.
Okay.
That I can get what I think is going to be the benefit of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I'm just trying to make sure I don't misinterpret what you're saying. So walking through it again, what you noticed was we were sitting, and you were sitting there too, and noticing we were on the breath, for instance,
right.
And then the leg went numb or the foot went numb.
Right, and then I started thinking about that.
Okay.
But I never went beyond that. I didn't have any more outside messages being, my brain sending to me.
And the
so
thoughts
I was able to focus on
the thoughts
on
were
the
about
discomfort.
Okay, the thoughts were about the discomfort.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
But I thought that was helpful to me to
You found it helpful
focus
too.
on the
Okay.
discomfort and see how I could, in other places and other times, be in a uncomfortable situation and learn from the meditation.
Okay, I see. You mean in the
Meditation.
future. So in the past, have you run away from the discomfort or done something about the discomfort or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you kind of get it out of your mind.
Okay.
I mean, not necessarily in a good way, it might stay with you and become an anxiety thing.
And so this time you focused on it rather than doing
Yeah.
that. Like, I got you.
Yeah,
now. All right.
to not endure it, but to
Okay, that's cool.
benefit from the discomfort.
That sounds good. Yes.
I just find that this combination of things that I've been learning lately, between the books that I've been reading of this class, I find myself using one of the three things: breath, yoga, and body scan, all through the day. When I do things and I'm getting excited and I want to get this done, then I realize I pull on one of the three things, and normally the breath, and then in a few seconds I feel different about what I'm going to do. And the body scan, again, the relaxation is fine. I feel all these things. I'm doing it shorter. And then the yoga, it's just that. The first, just a few moves that I can do. I'm concentrating on them, and so I pull out of these three things all through the day, and this is the benefit I get out of this.
So to clarify, you're also doing the formal practices,
Yeah.
the listening to the recordings, 40 minutes and all that, and then you're...
Not listening to the recording. I just follow. I already learned the recordings.
Oh,
and
I remember.
Go through the system, more or less. If I miss one, it's okay. But that's what I do.
All right.
The recordings throw me off.
Oh,
But
what
I
is it?
have to learn from the recordings, and I carry them out.
Can you say how they throw you off? What does that mean?
The voice, the think you're there, he's not there, all that stuff.
Okay.